Welcome to a quite honestly sleepy episode of the BirDie Golf Club Podcast because I'm tired. My guest today is also tired, but we're tired for all the right reasons because it was an incredible weekend of golf and quite literally a fairy tale ending, really, that I think not only the world of golf was looking for, but the world was looking for. So it's lovely to be able to do this, to do a Masters recap as best we can. And joining me today, I have my good friend James. And James, why don't you introduce yourself to listeners of the podcast and maybe give a little bit of background about your golfing life, if you can
Yeah,
summarize that.
sure. Thanks for having me on, Dub.
You're
What an
welcome,
honor,
mate.
yeah, to talk about that Masters. Yeah, it's probably one of the most amazing Masters I've ever seen. I've been watching golf. I was thinking about it today, actually. I've been playing since I was about eight, so well over 30 years without giving my age away.
Well
And
played.
yeah, thanks. Um, and I remember my first Masters. Like your first World Cup is the kind of the one that you really stick to, and
Yeah.
it kind of has an emotional connection with. Um, that was probably the 1990 Masters that Faldo won in a playoff
Hmm.
against Ray Floyd. And I've watched every single Masters since then and always just been captivated by the whole thing. And yeah, I think last night, I don't think I've ever experienced a sort of an emotional roller coaster like it in all those years. It was emotional. And I think I've never sort of been in such pain either watching
Oh,
golf. And I was so nervous the whole time, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I got home and I think I'm still full of adrenaline, despite it being 1:20 in the morning. But
that's it.
yeah,
I couldn't get to sleep. I couldn't get to sleep. I just
yeah,
it was. I it's hard to know where to even start about the weekend because every year, and Rory kind of said it, didn't he? What are we going to talk about next year? Because every
yeah,
year it sets itself up for this of like, can Rory get it done? That's always the narrative, isn't it? But
mm,
there was something different about this year because normally you always have somebody that they expect is going to do it and going to spoil the party. But it
mm.
seemed like as a collective, when you had Watson, Nicholas, and Player in that press conference, and they were just like, I think Rory's doing it this year.
Yeah. There was a
And
lot of positivity around him.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And I
but
think he came into it with a slightly different mindset as well. He sort of almost just addressed it, whereas sometimes
mm,
he tries to evade questions about it and stuff like that. He just sort of addressed it
mm,
and then just got on with the weekend. Um, and I think it helped. It definitely helped the fact that Scotty clearly didn't quite have his A game this weekend as well. Like
yeah.
it was
It kind
obvious,
of
wasn't it, Scotty?
Yeah, it's trending in the way that the whole PGA Tour has been trending, really. I mean, he's been the number one guy, and it doesn't always
Hmm.
work out like that, does it? And like we've seen in the years gone by, where he's had strong starts to the year and he's just not got it over the line. But
Yeah.
it went that way, and I don't know whether that's to do with. I guess there's two things that he's really changed this year. Both of them, I suppose, are kind of more peripheral things than maybe the technical stuff, I guess, which he worked on the off season. But he's been working with Bob Rotella
Yeah.
um, on his mental side of his game, and he's obviously he said that he's sort of following more of the tack of Scotty Scheffler in the strategy side of the game as well. But so maybe that's the difference. But when you see him, you think though that if he was applying those things, he wouldn't have gone about it the way he did. Like if
He
he's
definitely
really got
wasn't doing
the
the decade golf system
no,
yesterday, was he?
like no, because he was going for shots that were like, what is he going nearly into the water on 11 for? If he was
Yeah.
really playing the strategic game, that shot wouldn't have happened.
No.
Or the dunking it in the Race Creek on 13. And he's just sort of like he goes to the extremes, and I don't know what level at what level that advice he's been getting helped him, but it certainly wasn't sort of playbook or orthodox in the way it played
No,
out.
no. And I was just explaining to a friend today who's just it was one of his first times watching the Masters, which is ridiculous. But he said I still don't really get the Rory thing, which I thought you weren't watching yesterday. And I said, well, the thing is, Scotty Scheffler is still number one in the world, and he didn't even play that well and still came what T5
Mm. Yeah,
was it?
yeah,
I said, but Scotty Scheffler could have won that tournament, and to be honest, it wouldn't have been fireworks. He'd have made a few chip ins like he always does, but he just tee to green, pretty basic, just does everything well. I'm like Rory is just has always been electric,
yeah.
hasn't he? And he's a throwback to your
Yes.
Sevies, and
Mm.
it just those players, because golf, like many sports, has become sort of robotic in nature. You look at like Ludwig Oberg coming through. He's robotic, isn't he? He's great,
Mm.
and he's got a bit of charisma to him, but he doesn't play those shots that Rory tries to play.
No,
And
it doesn't. It's good for golf in a way that you've got. It's interesting that this last event at the Masters, you had the top two really going into it, fighting it out, were the
mhm,
most charismatic golfers in the game, who play the game in the most exciting way, which has got to be great for the game.
yeah,
But then I guess you've still got that sort of antithesis of Rory and Bryson in that very steady, it's a bit like the whole Norman Faldo thing going back to my generation.
yeah,
Faldo was the sort of plugged away. He's kind of ruthless. He's 18 pars in the last round of the Open to win it. I mean,
yeah,
it's steady stuff. Whereas, you got your swashbuckling Norman, who
yeah,
you had calamities, but also some great wins and what have you. So it's there's obviously two different ways of going about it, but obviously the steady way of doing it has led to Scheffler being, world number one by some way. But obviously,
yeah.
and I guess that whole dynamic sort of played out in the Butler cabin afterwards. Scheffler
Yeah.
could not have been less interested in being there.
It was when he slightly scrunched up the green jacket when he gave it to him. I just thought,
Yeah, I
come
reckon
on,
actually
mate. Like
closed up the actual armhole.
he's like, you're not getting your arm in this.
Nah, nah, no,
And yeah, Scheffler is just not your guy for he,
no.
he quite clearly shows that he just isn't bothered about entertainment. He's just there
No
to
charisma really.
just play
He can be a
golf
bit
and go
dry
home.
sometimes, but yeah, he's not that
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, he gets fed up in like the press conferences and stuff like that. And I thought it was interesting today as well. I saw a thing from Bryson that Rory didn't say a word to him
Yeah, I
through
heard
all
that.
18 holes.
I
And
don't
he
blame him for that, if I'm honest.
no,
Oh,
I
well,
thought,
you're trying out there to go and win a tournament, right? You're not supposed to be there as a dinner guest. You know what I mean?
but
It's
Bryson's doing this whole, and if I'm, he's doing it very well of being the people's golfer and everything like that.
yeah.
But Rory never claimed to be that, and I think what I noticed that was different in him, he had that little bit of that Tiger about him in the way that when Tiger was closing out a tournament, he couldn't have cared less if there wasn't a
Mm,
single person there.
no.
He's just getting that ball in that hole as quickly as he possibly can. Rory didn't quite do that perhaps for the last day, but maybe we can run through it a bit, because if we just thinking of like the Thursday, um and things were ticking along nicely. It was kind of following that narrative of good start.
Mm,
He's what, 4 under through 15 holes,
yeah.
and you're thinking, yeah, just par your way in. You're going to be absolutely fine. Great start.
Yeah.
And then,
Do you know what? I couldn't stay awake on Thursday. I was saving myself for the Sunday,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I went to bed when I think he might have played 14 holes, whatever, and I was like, "Oh, this is good. He's really truly in this
you
tournament
slept
now.
so well,
He's
didn't you?
he's figured it out." I did. I could not believe it when I woke up and read what he'd done. I was like, no, surely not. But fair play to him.
it, if anything, I wonder if these because he didn't seem to bogey a lot of holes. He just seemed to double. I mean, other than the last day where he a few bogeys, but he seemed to just double or nothing with him, wasn't it? It was just either he's going to play great
Yeah.
golf or just double it.
Was he the only player to
Um,
win the Masters having had four double bogeys, wasn't it?
no,
On the
I'm
weekend or
sure
something?
there was
Or
a
in the...
stat that no one had double bogeyed more than once and won the Masters throughout the tournament.
It's madness.
Because John Rahm did it because he double bogeyed his first hole, didn't he? Of the last of when
Yeah,
he
he
won.
did. Scheffler four jabbed, so he must have double bogeyed on the last.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he double bogeyed the last, but previous to that, I don't think anyone had done more than one double bogey throughout 4 rounds of golf, and Rory did 4 of them.
It just shows how much he's got to call upon to outdo that, to undo it.
Exactly, and
It's
obviously,
incredible.
you'd be a miss. I mean, Justin Rose started like unbelievably well.
Yeah.
I know you're a big fan of Rosie, and it's hard not to be a big fan of Rosie.
It's a class act, don't he? Even in defeat. Yeah. But you root for him,
He,
don't you?
oh yeah, and he's his game's clearly on on a
Amazing.
good
Yeah.
track right now. I mean, two.
Second major in a row, isn't it? That he's finished second.
So it'd be nice for him if he could get one over the line, but
Mm.
it was tough on the Sunday with him trying to not root against him really because sort of
Yeah.
don't ruin this. So the Thursday finishes and Rory's back even par again. He's what seven
Seven,
back
I
at that
think.
point,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then comes out on the Friday and shoots a 66, plays some astonishingly good golf.
Yeah.
Gets quite fortunate because there was a lot of talk, wasn't there, of um ideally he would have had the um morning afternoon round Thursday, Friday, but instead he had the afternoon morning, didn't he?
Yeah. But
Turned
I
out
think
to
that
be a bit of a blessing in disguise, that didn't it?
exactly, yeah. I was just going to say the same. Because of what happened with his chip in the water and everything, to get back out there early and just very quickly undo it, not have to mull on that for the
Yeah.
whole of the morning afterwards, yeah, was I think it definitely in his favour.
Yeah, and the winds seemed to pick up as well, just as he was on like 17, 18, and then they had to
Mm.
deal with the winds in the afternoon. So, even that worked out pretty well. He comes out Saturday, hits what seemed to be the shot of the tournament at the time, um, into that par five. Was that on the 15th or 13th, or it was one of the two?
13th, he
13th.
was on the pine straw, wasn't he? And he definitely,
That's
I
it.
think he pushed it a touch, and it
Yeah,
just carried on that line. I mean, it was a brilliant result, but you'd never aim to go between the flag and the
no,
creek on that line, would you?
it's like just a little strip of turf and just
Yeah,
despair either side of it. Essentially, it was just yeah,
yeah.
unbelievable shot. And you're thinking it's just going to be easier. Shoot 66 again,
Mm.
and you know, leading the tournament, going into the last day. I mean, it was just I didn't know how I felt about it though, if I was totally honest, because I would rather he was chasing going into that last day. I'd rather he was in Bryson's position,
Yeah,
essentially.
I think so because he's a interesting front runner. I think he because he's such an aggressive player. I don't think he really knows quite what to do when he can't attack.
Hmm.
And I think that last round was almost sort of a microcosm of his entire approach to his career and his golf. In that every time he made a mistake and he thought, oh no, he's blown it, he had to come out and fight and just attack. And
Yeah,
that's when he played his best shots. And that's when he really just showed his class.
yeah,
But he's got to come up with a system of going, look, I can play my game without those sort of levels of ups and downs, or I can learn how to win, in a number of different ways, which he has done across his career. But I guess in the majors, there's an extra level of pressure that maybe he just hadn't figured that out.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, his
I
ears were
mean,
popping with the pressure yesterday, weren't they? I mean, it was
oh yeah, oh they were, yeah,
ridiculous.
definitely. I mean, I
It
remember
was
having that same
ridiculous.
feeling about him in was it 2011 or when he won his US Open, his first
Yeah,
major.
2011, I think, wasn't it? Yeah,
Yeah, because obviously that was off the back of the choke at the Masters, and obviously that taught him a lot about how to get it done. But I remember him; he was so far clear um, that on the last day there. I still felt nervous for him because I thought, well, look, yeah, you've seen what a four-shot lead can how quickly that can disappear. But he showed that he could front run, and yeah, he managed it. But I think there's been a lot of scar tissue since then. Um,
Yeah.
and you can't blame him for it. I mean, we were all feeling it. I
Oh
mean, how
yeah.
pressurized. I mean, I can't. My palms were sweating. I was just watching it, let alone having to try to move my entire body to coordinate that thing.
It's like
Um,
when he got to because when he finished on 17 and he birdied. I mean, yeah. I mean, it feels like he's just run through it. I mean, starting with one, right? He
yeah, I
double bogeys
mean,
one.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
crazy.
After
Here we
hitting
go again.
after hitting, I mean, being centimeters away from his tee shot being perfect.
Yeah,
I mean, he pushed it a bit, didn't he? And he
yeah.
didn't get any draw on it like he had the previous days. But he was 1 centimeter away from that clearing that bunker and just bouncing on down that hill and having a wedge in his hand. To then, having to hit out of that bunker, play his third in, and you're just thinking, oh, like, please don't now just completely lose it because I think everyone feared that he's just going to shoot. I mean, he had Nick Dunlap numbers in
Yeah,
mind when.
that was crazy. Oh, come on.
So you just hold it. But actually, he said afterwards, didn't he? He's like, double bogey probably helped me. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's
you
game
know,
on now. Got to
yeah,
go for
yeah.
it.
And then Bryson birdies two. He makes par and he's behind, and you're just thinking like, come on, Rory, like, just
There's
get
no,
going.
there's no comfortable lead, is there, going into the? I mean, Greg Norman lost a six-shot lead, and he ended up
Yeah,
losing it by about five. So I mean, um, yeah, the nerves must be amazing for anyone, let alone what was on the line for him and what had
yeah,
gone on, in previous majors, especially how triggering it would have been to sort of have to come up against the last guy that did you over in a major as
yeah.
well.
You could sense that there was a little bit of, I think Bryson probably has taken it a little bit badly, the whole not talking to him thing, and on reflection, he's probably just a bit emotional after having a pretty terrible last day,
Yeah, I
by
think
his
so.
standards, weren't he? But you've got to just, I mean, it's competition, you know. Um,
Mm.
and I mean, I had a guest on the podcast, Martin Maritz, and he was talking about his experience with Tiger. Um, and just on a range, and he turns around and Tiger's standing there, and there's no room for Tiger on the range, and he's like, Tiger, do you want me to move up and you can have we can share a bay and or whatever. And Tiger just looked at him like with a death stare and just walked off. And he's just like, oh, I saw him the next year. He's in Dubai, teeing off on the third, which backed onto the first tee box. Loads of people rush around. Tiger's standing there, and he's like, my heart rate just went through the roof. And he goes, it's a practice round on a Tuesday. And Tiger's watching me. He goes, I just somehow made contact with the club face and off I go.
Yeah, I
And I
bet.
think Rory, now with this weight off his shoulders, he could probably start establishing that sort of
Yeah,
feeling with people.
yeah. I'd said as soon as he won it, I thought, well, now there's what's to stand in his way. He could go in and win another five
Yeah,
comfortably now.
yeah,
He's done it. He's achieved everything,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So what if he
Swing
blows up
free.
again? Yeah, absolutely, swing free, and he's the most deadly player to swing free in world
Oh,
golf.
and it's probably been the only thing really holding him back, hasn't it? If you think
Yeah, he's
about it,
been.
like
Yeah.
he wins so much
Mhm.
anyway,
Mhm.
but every time there's always this tension over can he get it over the line? Can he win another major, first of all? And can
Yeah,
he get the Grand Slam done?
yeah,
It's done.
it's done now. Yeah, he'll play all the majors now with a handbrake off,
Yeah.
and he's finished second. How was it, five times or something in that period, playing almost with the handbrake on. So yeah, just imagine what he's going to be capable of turning those year in year out. He wins big tournaments, and now I think now the majors are just going to become part of that now. Nothing to
You're
stop
just
him.
gonna be hitting 360-yard bombs, and just chasing after him. which is
Yeah,
lovely, isn't it? Like to see.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
all I need to
yeah. It's
say.
amazing to watch. What's amazing is that he's not done like Bryson and got in. I mean, yes, he gets in the gym and he's he's pumped the iron and what have you, but he's not
Yeah,
done it in that sort of bodybuilder sort of long drive champ sort of way. Yet, he's just it's mostly technique,
yeah.
pure skill and
Hmm.
talent. And yet you look at him up against Bryson, who we all kind of held as this guy that is this absolute bomber that's entered these long drive competitions, and Rory's knocking it, at least the
Yeah,
same distance. I mean, up the last hole in
yeah,
regulation, he was past him.
yeah.
You know,
And he's
so
5'9", Rory. Like,
yeah,
you know,
it's
just weighs a
unbelievable.
normal amount for a five
Yeah,
nine guy. He's my height, and the speed he generates is insane. But that is, the genetics come into
yeah,
it. Everything, the shoulder turn, like, is just unbelievable.
yeah.
And I mean, I think it now just frees him up to hit shots like he did through the trees, where he hit that 9-iron, where he opened up the face and
With
just
that
abs.
huge amount of recoil on that, jumped out of his shoes, didn't he?
But that kind of brings me to a point because I think that was I have I have a bit of a um it's an it's an opinion that's been said a lot, and Rory bites back on it. I think it's a little bit of a blind spot for him. Now, don't get me wrong, I thought it was amazing yesterday. I mean, who wouldn't want to win the Masters with your best mate on the bag? Like,
Yeah,
that's special. And I would never want to take that sort of anything away from that, because that's amazing. But for me, I look at some of the decisions on the course. Now, I'm not saying that Rory would ever let anybody change his mind on the course when it comes to which club he's going to have in his hand or a putt or anything like that. But I do feel like sometimes Harry Diamond's a little bit more of a spectator than what
he's
he should be as a caddy.
yeah, he might be a bit more of a yes man. It all depends, I guess, what you want from the caddy. I mean, I've read or heard today that like Rory just doesn't want to listen. He'll do the whole dynamic with them two is that he's comfortable with him because he's a mate, and
Yeah.
that's what he gets out of that relationship. But when it comes to actually decision making, he's very um, yeah, he's got a one-track mind on it, and he will do it himself. He's very, very, confident in the fact that he wants to do it his way, and that's
Mm-hmm.
been to his own detriment over the years, I think. But I mean, it's
Mm.
probably a bit of it's a monkey off both of their backs, really. I mean, yeah, Harry Diamond's got that criticism um, himself, and now he can say, look, well, we've won the Grand Slam, or we've got that over the line together. That major
Yeah.
drought's done, and I was on the bag. Um, but you kind of think that if someone else was on the bag giving him some other maybe some sensible advice around how this around the strategy,
Mm.
then would you have the same Rory McIlroy? You wouldn't. You wouldn't have the drama. You don't. You'd be kind of maybe you'd be cranking down what makes him great. So
Yeah,
there's
that is true. That is true. I get frustrated sometimes. I think mostly with like putt read, like a bit of like reading on the greens and stuff. I
mm,
just look sometimes and just see sort of Harry Diamond holding a flag and being like 30 yards away, and it's just like, I don't know. I feel like you should be given a second opinion on these putts. But then if Rory is that one track mind,
yeah, doesn't want
I,
it.
I wonder if it will hold him back long term from winning as many majors as what he could have. I guess, because when you have a great caddy, it just, if anything, it can just inspire a bit more confidence in what you're doing. I mean, that's the
Yeah,
idea, isn't it? You've got somebody who knows your game as well as you do,
yeah,
because that's kind of their job, and then just giving you that, nope, this is the club, like this is the one. But who's going to say that to Rory McIlroy? That is,
yeah,
you know. But then Tiger had some amazing caddies, and and they made some big calls at times and gave him a
yeah.
little bit of help. I
Yeah,
just,
I mean, Steve Williams was also he was in a position where he could be very, as a personality, he is and was very forthright. So he would
yeah.
tell Tiger, he might get it back,
Mm.
equally, but yeah, it depends on the personality of the caddy, I suppose, in that situation. But yeah, who knows? Who knows what it certainly wouldn't have given us possibly the drama that we experienced last night anyway. But
No,
I think
exactly.
it's good for him though. I think that for him, his sake, that it's been done now.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I think I was using it as a bit of a scapegoat when I was going through just a severe amount of pain watching it, of just like, it's Harry Diamond. It's not Rory. Rory's the best player in the world. It's Harry Diamond, which I think Rory's sick of, and I understand that as well. Because if you were in the same situation, you'd be sick of somebody sort of the media painting this narrative that it's all on this person. It's like, well, I'm the guy taking the shots,
Oh yeah,
which is obviously fair enough. And then, I mean, Justin Rose coming out of nowhere on the last day, he shot a
10 birdies.
66, didn't he, on the last day? 10
Mm,
birdies around
mm.
Augusta. Um, you can't help but feel for him because the playoffs haven't been his friend generally, and he didn't do anything wrong on that last hole
No, he
either.
didn't. He was brilliant. He hit the fairway. He hit it straight over the flag.
Yeah,
What more can you do?
he didn't. If anything, the green sort of done him a little bit dirty because it didn't just go up far enough up that bank to come back down again. Otherwise, he's facing basically the same putt that Rory has to win it.
Yeah, that's the advantage Rory has on his with his length. He can come in with a wedge and just
Yeah,
stop it. Rose would be coming in with a couple of clubs more,
yeah,
and that lower ball flight is going to skip the ball up the green a bit more, and it's
yeah.
those fine margins ultimately.
It shows the advantage of length, even around somewhere like Augusta, which kind of sort of diminishes length as best as you can in the world of golf, doesn't it? But I mean, yeah. After you'd missed that first putt on 18
Oh,
to do it, and I knew. Did you get a sense he wasn't making that putt?
yeah. I think I was.
Just
I wasn't confident. I really wasn't confident. I kind of thought that his mind was all over the place because he's. I mean, I was worried. I mean, even taking it a bit further back than that, but on 15 when he got blocked out, obviously he's pulled off this unbelievable shot, that 7-iron draw around the trees, which
yeah,
I gather that he was going to hit 8 until he saw Bryson play. So actually on
right,
that occasion, an advantage that he was second, hitting second. Otherwise, he could have ended up quite easily in the water. But I was thinking, no, he's getting himself into really difficult decisions, positions where he's having to make these calls that almost make or break.
yeah,
And then the fact that when I saw him hit that approach shot into 17, where he was shouting immediately to say, go, get up, I
yeah,
was thinking, oh no, because
yeah,
when he got to the point where Rose had finished on 11 and he was at 11, I'm thinking, well, you've got 17 and 18 to play. Those are difficult holes. And the way how shaky he was up to that point, I really, really worried that he was not going to be able to finish level par for
yeah.
those 2 holes, and he obviously did with a birdie and a bogey. But I was very relieved to see that ball carry up to the green on 17 because I think if he's a few yards shorter than that,
Oh, that
he
bunker
might
is,
struggle, yeah,
yeah.
to
You're
get up
trying
and
to hit a
down.
shot out of that bunker onto a narrow sort of shelf of the green,
Yeah,
essentially.
it was, yeah. And then trying to birdie up. I mean, he proved he can do it up 18, but still having to do that just to make a playoff would be a different thing altogether. But yeah, I didn't. What was interesting is that when he got in the middle of the fairway, I immediately thought about Greg Norman. I actually said it, and then I think one of the commentators brought it up, but because I remember him getting nervy and blocking it. I think he had a 7-iron back in the mid 80s, and he
Hmm.
blocked it into that bunker, and I think he had a par to win, and he ended up in the playoff and lost. But I thought, nah, well, he's only got a wedge. It's miles right for a wedge. I could not believe my eyes when I saw that going in the bunker. And when I saw it going in the bunker, I thought, can you imagine having
Oh,
to get up and down to win the Grand Slam out of that bunker? I would. I mean,
I'm
I can get the
sculling
ball
that.
out of bunkers, okay, but I'm sculling that. I'm A-berging that into the face.
I'm
Or
opening up the face so much, and I'm just bouncing it off the sand and straight into
yeah,
the middle of the ball
I am
all day.
chunking and running that all day long.
It
Yeah,
was unbelievable that. Do you reckon he just? I guess Rory's miss is an overdraw, isn't it? Essentially, of the ball, he end up being
mm.
a bit hooky with it, and he just almost like got in his own head of how much he could hook a wedge.
Yeah, I guess the ball was. I think it was above his feet a little bit, and I think he thought that it was gonna come in from that. He draws the ball anyway, you know, it happens. Last time I played, I managed to, draw a wedge, way far too much than I should have.
Just closing down
I
that face.
yeah, I get it, but he's obviously got far more, better face control than anyone else in the world, really. But Bar Scheffler, but that's a big miss from there, and I thought that's a really telltale sign that he's nervy. So I didn't, if he'd have knocked it to 4 feet more, maybe, but to have that whatever it was, 8 foot putt, I wasn't confident. But I generally thought that if he, given that he had a one shot lead come up the last, and the fact that it was pretty much, apart from that early blip, in his hands all day, and the only person getting in his way was himself.
Yeah.
I really thought that, that blow of now actually being level with someone and it's finished, and having to kind of recover from all the ups and downs of that round and having to do it all again in a playoff. I genuinely, most people would, in that situation would have been by far the second favourite.
Yeah.
Rose has had 10 birdies. He's been able to keep on practicing in relative calm,
Hmm.
whilst Rory's head has gone. I mean,
Yeah.
it shows it's even more incredible that he goes up and absolutely mashes it up the fairway, stiffs
Yeah.
it and holds a putt. I mean, what a performance given where his mind would have
Unbelievable.
been at after
And
that.
Rose came onto that 18th tee box like he owned the place as well. Like
Yeah,
he
yeah.
came on, and I think
He would though.
he caught him say to someone, yeah. He sort of shook Rory's hand, very nice. Both of them shook each other's hands, and then he like turned to the tee box and went, any chance we can get these divots filled in? That'd be awesome, thanks. And then like, because I think there was a couple of divots that were like sitting in the middle of the tee box, and I
Really?
heard over the thing him go, yeah, any chance we can get a couple of these filled in? That'd be awesome, thanks. So even that, he'd planned that in his mind for sure. Because why
Do you
would you
reckon?
bother? Oh, 100%.
I
100%. That's the kind of tactics, that's the kind of horrible tactics that I would, if I was in that
I
situation.
don't think he's capable of that. I read it as that there were shadows in the way, or he wanted to close up the shadows. But who knows?
Oh,
I
so I
thought
was sure it was the divots because he said any chance we can get these repaired.
that just shows where your mind goes to with this gamesmanship tactics.
Oh yeah, totally. It's because he walked in sort of elbows out because I mean he knows if it's a talent competition, um, Rose knows where he sits when it comes to Rory. Do you know what I mean? I mean, no one
Yeah.
speaks higher of Rory than the Europeans that play alongside him. So
Mhm.
it must be really difficult because Rose knows the narrative. He knows how much it would mean to Rory. They're
Yeah.
friends. I mean, it's just
Yeah, under any other circumstance, he'd have been next to Tommy Fleetwood giving him a hug,
100%.
at
Yeah,
the end,
yeah,
wouldn't he? And
yeah,
Shane Lowry. It's the only situation where he wouldn't be doing that.
yeah.
But you've got to leverage that advantage that he had in a competitive situation. That I'm the one that's come through the field. I've had a great day. I'm not the one that's been scrambling like hell to get in, and
Hmm.
I've got to stamp my advantage on this. And you
Yeah,
would psychologically, that's probably the right thing to do to go up there with your shoulders back and go, "This is mine."
yeah,
But
yeah,
you can't account for the fact that even though he hit two beautiful shots, he just that class just shone,
yeah.
and there's nothing you can do about that. And he didn't throw it away. I mean, even when he lost to Garcia in the playoff, Garcia held the putt.
Hmm.
Um, that's golf, isn't it? You
Yeah,
can't,
yeah, yeah.
you don't have to do anything necessarily wrong to come on
No.
the other side of the coin, unfortunately.
tell, tell me about it. I do plenty wrong, and then when I do right, when it goes wrong, that's when it hurts. But
Yeah,
I mean,
stupid game.
it was lovely just seeing the outpouring of emotion at the end as well. Like
Yeah,
for me, like I was trying to equate. Always like to do like a bit of a footballing analogy when it comes to golf. I think as far as drama, we're both Man United fans. It equals what
shh,
would have been
don't say
like.
that too loudly.
Yeah, we both were Man United fans. It equals 99 as in like the drama of like a of just how it could have played out because golf tournaments just don't end that way very often, and
No,
there
they
won't be
don't.
another major this season that ends that. ends anywhere near. I don't think.
No, I doubt it. The closest I can think of is Medina, the Miracle
Yeah,
of Medina,
yeah,
where I felt equally as sick watching Martin Kaymer on that 18th green as I
yeah,
did watching Rory.
yes, yeah,
That whole round, to be honest, but especially on the back nine. Yeah, that level of drama is not normal. It's a defining tournament, I think, for golf.
yeah. Oh,
You
100%.
know,
And
yeah.
I think it probably outdoes. I think it. I was thinking about it today, and I think it outdoes 2019.
Yeah, I heard was it Faldo's on the commentary was saying how he thinks it superseded it. Oh, it's a hard one to tell. I
Can I give you my reasons?
Go on.
Okay, nothing can beat um the against all odds that happened with Tiger winning. I mean, the guy is lucky to be walking, um, and to win the Masters, everything that had happened to his body, and just the fact that no one ever saw him winning a major again, let alone the Masters, especially with that golf course and how hilly it is, and just such a difficult place to play golf, let alone walk. Tiger winning it was incredible as far as like a against all odds story. But that final round wasn't um wasn't like a crazy spectacle. It was kind of over and done with by what, the 16th, 17th. There was kind of that sort of, it looks like it's happening. So get your TVs on, watch this.
Yeah.
Whereas yesterday was just pure cinema from the moment it started, like before it started. I mean, I was having a barbecue yesterday. It was like 12 o'clock, and I'm warming up the barbecue, and I'm just standing there with my tongs and just,
What,
I just,
12 degrees as well, wasn't it? It's just a bit of
yeah,
sunshine. Yeah.
yeah, a little bit of sunshine. I'm just standing with my tongs and just staring into distance. The barbecue got up to like 250 degrees, and I'm just like, is he going to do it later? I mean, the whole build up to it was cinema. The fact that everyone was kind of rooting for it to happen, it and the fact that the way it played out, and then the fact that he came back to the field, pushed away from the field, went back to the field again. It was a roller coaster of emotions watching it, and then for it to finish the way it did, with almost like a hero in many eyes becoming a villain in Rose, because it's like, is he going to ruin this? Is he going to
Yes.
ruin this? He
Yeah.
deserves it, but I don't know if I can ever forgive him if he does it.
Yeah. It would have been a much easier thing for us to handle if Reed was in the playoff and
Oh,
not Rose. It
that
just
was
couldn't
one
have
of my
happened.
biggest fears.
Yeah.
Um, when he holed out on the 17th, I just went like, he could hold out again. If he's in a playoff, he's gonna win it. Like,
Oh,
this is the
yeah.
worst thing for golf ever if Patrick
But
Reed beats Rory.
I mean, again, a narrative like the whole Ryder Cup rivalry stuff. I mean, that would have been incredible. But yeah, thankfully
Yeah.
that didn't happen.
I looked at him and thought, don't do this to us. Don't do this. We don't need this. But I just think from that point of view, for me, it's certainly, I think, the greatest Masters tournament that there's been for that. That's
Yeah,
that's where it sits with me, and I get both sides of it, but that's just my
I know what you
argument.
mean. I completely get you. I think the actual spectacle was far more exciting and thrilling. The way Rory got his achievement, and also it had the Grand Slam element to it as well.
Yeah,
Tiger's, obviously had a similar weight for his next major, and obviously the backstory there was more around his sort of physical ailments and the struggles he'd get through to even just play.
yeah,
A physical feat really more than anything, rather than a
100.
mental one, because Tiger's the strongest mentally of the game's ever known.
Mm-hmm.
He just sort of played peerless golf that day, and everyone else crumbled around him, and that
Mm.
was almost like, again, it was a sort of reflection of his career where he got near a new leaderboard and everyone just started to get scared, thinking, oh, this guy is just not going to quit. He's so mentally strong. His will to win will just take over. And everyone just dripped away, and he ended up the last man standing. But whilst that feat was remarkable, yeah, the way it played out wasn't as dramatic as
No.
The way Rory did it. But again, that's part of because of the people involved. You've got that Iceman Tiger who just did everything right that day, but it was a little bit more standard in the way that it was
Yeah.
won. Whereas you've got Rory, who's going through the mill mentally,
Oh,
produced this unbelievable drama. So I get it. Yeah, as a spectacle, I don't think I can remember a more tense Masters in my living memory. Incredible
he looked
event.
like he was going to throw up on several occasions.
I
Like,
think I was, to be fair.
yeah.
Well,
And then just the thought of him getting to that. I think the playoff hole, you can reset and you can just go, well, it's me v you. I've beaten the rest of the field. Let's go for it. So I sort of, I mean, you can't, I mean, the pressure cooker of the situation, you can't really equate it, but I can sort of understand how he's able to make a swing on that one. But that, for me, him waiting on the 17th, eating that granola bar or whatever it was he was eating, um, which how he ate food at
yeah,
that time.
how he got it down, I don't know.
But him waiting there, I don't know if that was worse than just going to the 18th tee. I was trying to work it out in my head, like, is it just worse you waited there with everyone looking back at you, going, is this guy going to come to this 18th tee and finish this off or what?
Yeah, I know. Mind you,
For
it
him
would be
then to
very awkward,
swing.
wouldn't it, to be there at the back of that tee for all that time?
It would have. It
The
would have.
chatter. Because
Yeah.
someone shouted out, like he missed a putt, didn't he, on the front line? Someone shouted out, "I knew it," or something like that, didn't they?
Yes, I
Yeah.
heard that.
So there's still
Unbelievable
some
behavior.
crap he's having to deal with as well.
Yeah.
And you don't want to
It,
be standing listening to that, while you're having to, par the last for the Grand Slam.
that guy's lucky he didn't have a phone because
Yeah,
Rory would have
that's what I was
taken
thinking.
that phone
Yeah.
so fast. He's never seen that phone again. That's Rory's now.
Yes,
But how
definitely.
he felt his hands just to make a swing, it's just
Yeah, that's the nature of golf in that you've got so many moving parts, and the interplay between the physical and the mental is so pronounced in golf,
mm,
more than most sports, certainly any sport I've ever played. When I've been there a million times where you get to a situation, the first tee of any kind of competition or whatever it might be, that it means something to you. There is a
yeah.
difference in you physically and
Oh yeah.
mentally, and
Yeah.
it's there's research behind it that it kind of shows you why that happens. But it's a skill set and it's of its own to be able to perform and move in the right way under
Mm.
those circumstances. And I have no idea how he does it, how any of those top pros do it to that level, really, especially under
It's,
those circumstances.
it's just it's unbelievable. I
Next
mean,
level.
I'm right now got in my head just thinking I'm playing the waterfall course at Manning Teeth on Wednesday, and I'm just thinking of that first tee box and the clubhouse behind.
Yeah, right in front of the clubhouse and the terrace.
it's
Yeah.
it's 1 p.m. tee off time as well, which is prime lunch time.
Yeah.
And I'm terrified. I'm just going to take a 6 iron out and just try and get it on that fairway opposite.
Might
Like, what is
get
it?
some abuse from the clubhouse for taking an iron out on the first
I'm
tee,
doing
though.
it. I'll do it. And if they say anything, I'll go, well, I probably hit my 6 iron further than you do by pointing to one of them. I'll pick one where I definitely think I do hit my 6 iron further than
Some poor junior having a
yeah.
sandwich.
Yeah. Hit a 6 iron further than you, though, don't I, mate? Hey?
Punk.
Well done, though, mate. It's good to see you here. Good to see
Yeah, keep going. Yeah,
Keep going, buddy. Georgie Go comes up and absolutely stripes one down the middle, like 250 or something. I'm like, okay, all right,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So yeah, you can't help but try and equate it to something you know of. But I had one friend messaging me and being derogatory about Rory when every time he fell off a bit yesterday, and I just messaged back. I said, I cannot do this. Like, I can't do it. It hurts too much. You're not being fair. Like, it's over. We're not talking about this. I'll talk to you
Yeah.
at the end when
It's
it's
because
done.
we can all relate to him.
Yeah,
He's a fallible guy. And maybe it's also he's British as well. I struggle to relate to someone like Tiger, who's he's marine trained.
Yeah,
He's got no fat on him whatsoever. He's the most mentally tough sportsman in the world history. I can't relate to that guy,
what? Really?
but yeah, difficult as it might seem. But Rory,
Yeah,
he's from he's British slash Irish, however insert here.
yeah, yeah.
And he's the way he sort of dealt with himself over these majors that where he's just come up short. You're like, we can relate much more to that guy that
Hmm.
that knows what it's like to kind of choke or to find it difficult to get over the line in anything in life. And I think
100%.
that's why we kind of relate so much to him in this situation,
Yeah.
especially
And
because
he
we get
sort of
it.
showed it, didn't he, with the outpouring of emotion? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I thought snot was going to come from his nose at any moment, and I'd have welcomed it. I'd have welcomed it. Bottle it up, keep that.
Yeah.
Um, but you don't get that a lot from people, and the way he was so honest afterwards, and you can tell he'd just been bottling up all these things he wanted to say, but
Yeah.
knew he couldn't from a mental side of things of just trying to stay in your lane and just play good golf. It's
Yeah.
just the way he's just like, yeah, of course, I've dreamt of everything this moment, like going into Butler's cabin, going into the winners' locker room, champions' locker room afterwards, getting somebody put that green jacket over his shoulders, the whole thing. And obviously, you can't really say that before you do it because you're
No,
setting
you've got
yourself
to
up for it.
play the party line.
Yeah,
Of course, I'm not. Yeah, it's important to me, but I'm just concentrating on playing my game.
one
You've
round at a
got to kind of,
time.
yeah,
Yeah,
you've got to churn out that spiel for your own sake, because all of that helps you with the mentality it needs to get over the line. Because obviously, if you're going like, I'm absolutely bricking it, and
yeah,
I'm not sure how I'm going to cope today, and
yeah,
I
yeah.
want
It
this
doesn't.
so bad, it doesn't do yourself any good to actually try and
Yeah.
get it done.
If
But
everyone else
yeah.
could just have a terrible day today, it would be really great. I'm looking for 76s across the board would be ideal.
Dunlap, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, you
What
got
a
it,
bit
boss.
Dunlap.
You didn't have to go
He
that far.
he did. Did he shoot? Did he shoot three under or something the following day?
I think he ended
Dunlap
up at one under
one
eventually.
under.
I think,
Okay,
yeah, he was definitely under par, which is an incredible turnaround. I don't
still
know how a
finished dead
pro,
last, but
he was dead last year, okay, but I don't know how he. I don't know. I mean, surely, even if you've got to a point where you're 12 over for the round,
mm,
you surely you can go and I don't know, play ultra conservative for the rest of the round and just I don't know how he kept racking up all of these like massive scores. His head must have absolutely gone. I mean,
I didn't see any of his round.
I
I
didn't
just saw
know.
the score. I mean, you can only think every bag in his club he was struggling with. You know, it
Yeah,
must have been, mustn't it? Just everything. Putter must have just been awful. I mean, those greens can clearly get away from you pretty quickly.
yeah. Well, there's a whole thing, isn't it? Is it would you beat a pro if you were putting from the edge of the green on every hole? That's
I
what you
think that's a
started.
nonsense. I think that's
Do
a
you think so?
nonsense. Yeah, I think it's a nonsense. Yeah, I think, yeah, 100% I'm winning that tournament.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think I
100%.
think you might struggle to not four jab most
Well,
greens.
I struggle not to four putt in general. I had a
So,
horrendous four putt the other day, actually, and I'd rather you didn't bring it up.
yeah, sorry, man. Let's move on.
It was like four putts from about, each of them managed to be from about 5 foot. I just couldn't get anything within 5 foot of the hole. It was, I'll tell you where it was. It was, um, where was Sweetwoods?
Oh, it's not that hole, the eighth, is it, or seventh, with the worst like sloping green in the whole of the
I
southeast of
think it
England or
might be.
beyond.
And they
Yeah,
put the pin on like a mound. And it
yeah.
was just
Oh,
like,
yeah,
it didn't matter where you hit your putt, it was going to slope away anyway.
yeah,
Honestly,
yeah.
but everyone else did well on that hole, and I walked away with like a four putt. Just
That
felt dreadful.
that's almost illegal. That whole they should bomb that whole thing and redo it. It's
Thank you.
ridiculous. It's
I
ridiculous.
agree. I
Yeah, it's
second that.
famous. It's famous around that area. But yeah,
No,
no, that's
I do think it's just a nonsense because you got how many par fives? You got four par fives. Yeah.
yeah. 2,
Like
8, 13, 15. Yeah,
I'm not five putting,
yeah.
James.
No. I'm agreeing with you. Yeah.
I don't think I'm five putting. I'm confident I'm not five putting
Yeah.
on those. So that okay, so there you go. That's at least a birdie
Mhm.
on those holes. And then you've got you know, par threes will be obviously clearly the most difficult ones.
Yeah.
Okay. But I feel like I'm winning that tournament if you put me on the green.
It's
Do I get to go on the practice greens before?
Yeah, I would think so. Well, I don't know actually. I don't know what the scenario is, but I mean, I think you. I think if you didn't, I think you would struggle. I think you'd to win your tournament. I think you'd have to have had at least a practice. What I've heard is that because I heard some anecdote years and years ago where somebody played it and they had a caddy and they were saying, "Look, where are you aiming?" And they were like, "I reckon it's probably a few feet outside the right or whatever." And they were like, "No, you need to basically turn your back to the hole and aim it over
Right.
here." And so you end up aiming it in places that you think are the rules of physics wouldn't bring the ball back to the hole. Weird like
Hmm.
aiming points. And so unless you kind of understand that sort of the how those contours work with the speed of those greens, you without any practice, you may well degreen a lot of putts. But I mean, who knows? It's
Mm.
unlikely
You've got
we'll
no
get the
faith in
chance
me.
to put it to the test.
But look, Augusta, if you want to have us out, we're
Yeah.
more than willing to try it. I think you're winning that tournament, though, right? Come on, because you play off of what now? Two,
One now,
one.
yeah.
Oh, is it one now?
It's one now, yeah. I know
Oh, he's getting
putting
even
my
better.
putting is a strength of mine. I one putted 7 greens last time I played, so
Right.
I'd fancy myself. But even then, honestly, the thing with that is I'm playing on greens like most mortals are playing on. That's what 9, 10
Yeah,
on the stimp in
that's
the
being
UK on
generous,
a good
probably, isn't
day. Yeah,
it?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Playing 13 with a lot of slope, with those sort of razor sharp edges. I mean, it's
Yeah.
different ball game. I mean, I played one of a club up in near London the other week. But some of the I think I can't remember the name of the course now.
London
Anyway,
Club
so
or
no, it
Centurion or
wasn't. No, it was Sebi's place up in North London. I can't remember the name of it. But it's extremely lightning quick greens, and it's just different. Like the calibration you have to do to kind of just
Mm.
that with the distance control, it's just completely different. Where you could sort of hit the ball
Yeah.
with a bit of pace, and it sort of comes to a sort of fairly abrupt stop. But it's playing sort of greens where you have to play for the run out, so that when it just runs out of energy, it's pin high. That's just a different
Yeah.
skill set when you're not used to doing it. But yeah, who knows? I'd love to try, but
It'd be a fascinating it's like the mystery man that every year gets to play the final two
oh, there was a
rounds.
guy this year. I read about him. I saw him. Yeah, that member, wasn't it, that I got to play?
Was it with
Oh,
Tom Kim or something this year? I think he got to play with.
possibly,
I can't
yeah.
remember who it was, but
I wonder
yeah,
what he
he's a member
shot.
of Augusta.
I wonder
Yeah,
what he shot.
they don't because he can pick it up and stuff. So there's no score kept for him. Essentially, there's no
No, but
record
he would want
of
to know what he shot, wouldn't he? Because he's playing off the back tees. He won't have.
yeah,
Yeah, he probably won't have played, I imagine,
yeah,
off of those
yeah.
back tees, even on the monthly medal. If they even have those over there
Wasn't
at
it the
Augusta.
guy who used to play that holds the course record? So the chap who used to play as the mystery man for the fill-in when it's an odd number that make the cut, he holds the course record.
Oh, off what? Off the members' tees?
No, I think off of the tournament tees, and I have a feeling he shot the course record. I'm gonna have to chat GPT this, okay? Because
Well,
um
while you do that, talking of like records around that course,
yeah,
well, certainly it was true. I don't know if it still is, but certainly of recent years, the only player, bit of trivia, the only player to shoot in the 60s in all 4 rounds of the Masters in Masters history only happened a couple of years ago, and he didn't even win the tournament. which was Cam Smith,
Oh, of course it was
and
Cam Smith,
he finished second.
Mr. Blazer.
And the reason why I wanted to bring him up is because I want I want one of those blazers. I just want to know what it feels like. I mean, that's just mad. I could not believe what I was seeing when I saw that blazer on. I was like, surely that's not real. I can't believe it. It can't
It's
be.
got to be four-way stretch fabric, surely, hasn't
Oh
it?
yeah, apparently it is a really stretchy material.
Okay.
I mean, I like the
I'm,
style. No, that's quite cool. I mean, I'm like, yeah, fair play. I mean, you'll go. Thing is, though, with him, you're going there to be the guy wearing the jacket, not to win it, right? You can't
well,
be
that's
both.
what it turned out being, wasn't it? Really,
Yeah, yeah.
at the end.
Like Poulter, right?
Yeah.
Don't waste. If you're going to wear silly trousers, you're going to be that guy. You're not going to be the guy in contention, and mostly. But yeah,
I'm all for it though.
fair play. Yeah, I love
Bring black.
golf
Bring
fashion. I mean, but I'm
yeah.
waiting for them to turn up on the. I mean, I don't know. I'm assuming it was a. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to mention brand names because you've got some brand
No, go for
association.
it. Go
But
for it. No. I
I'm,
mean,
I'm,
I've got. I highlight brands.
fair enough. I'm assuming it was a penguin outfit, so to
Yeah,
speak.
yeah, yeah.
Imagine it was an actual
Quite
penguin
literally.
outfit.
Just Cam Smith channeling his inner penguin.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm just waiting for the day when those jackets start appearing on the shelves of pro shops, and then you
I
start
think it's
seeing
great.
what kind of people are the first ones who are going to start turning up. I mean, certainly in the UK, you are going to get a heck of a load of abuse if you turn
Yeah,
up on the first tee wearing a jacket.
yeah, yeah.
Serious abuse.
I've got a pair of like the joggers,
Oh,
the golf
yeah,
joggers that I'm wearing on
yeah,
Wednesday, and I'm a little bit nervous about the looks
yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
get.
yeah,
Um,
oh,
the
yeah,
golf joggers with the ankle socks, so you can see a little bit of my ankle
yeah.
as well,
A bit
which is
risque.
quite disgusting of me, really, when you sort of put it.
Yeah.
So it was Jeff Knox. He,
Okay.
so he holds the unofficial course record of 11 under
Mm,
par.
wow.
But he did that from the members' tees.
Okay.
I heard it was from so the actual. Okay, do you know the official Masters tournament record? Do you want to have a
Oh,
hazard a
the low
guess?
score for an individual round or the
Mm-hmm.
actual? Well, it was always 63, but I think 62 won it the other year. I do know who it was. It's not coming to mind. Um, no, tell me.
So all I've got is 63. This is where ChatGPT does it wrong.
Oh, it might be
Is
right because I think Greg Norman definitely shot.
Yep.
I think Nick Price had a 63 as well.
Oh, what knowledge you have, Nick Price. Nick Price in
He
1986,
had
and
it for a long time, and then I
yeah.
think Norman did it in '96 before he blew up in the
Oh,
final round.
James, you're on fire. You're on fire. Can you read me the next paragraph? You can do that. You're just linked into AI now, and maybe that's the first human integration with AI.
Golf
what,
ball.
what, what a pointless way of using it.
Yeah, golf trivia. There's so
Like,
many.
Greg Norman, 1996.
Yeah, yes. So many more yeah, useful use cases to solve the world's problems. But we first application golf trivia. Why not?
Why not? Why not? So we got 4 weeks now, and then it's the PGA.
Yeah, it
Where's that
comes
being
around quick
played
these
this
days.
year?
It's Quail Hollow, I think, is it? Or one of them is it Quail Hollow?
I
Or
think
that's the
you're right.
US Open.
No, I
Is
think it's the
it?
PGA because
Is
Rory
it?
didn't mention the US Open when he was talking about the majors for the rest of the year. So I'm guessing it's at a course that he
I know
doesn't
one that's
particularly
yeah,
like.
yeah, possibly. But Quail Hollow he loves. I mean, it could not be set up more perfectly. I mean, he's won a few times there. In on the PGA Tour, and I think he shot 62 there. I think when he first won it, his first PGA Tour win,
Mhm.
um, on the final round. But yeah, I mean, he loves that course.
Yeah,
I would not be surprised if he's in contention again. So yeah, not long to wait. That's the thing with these majors in the new order. They're
just one
it's,
after another after another. It's
it
great.
is, and then the only thing with it is you're like someone who's been watching the majors since the late 80s, is you like you watch the Open, you think, oh, there's another one to come, and then you think, oh no, there isn't. There's like 9 months
just
till the next one. You're like, oh, that's depressing.
at least you got the Ryder Cup. At least you got the Ryder Cup
Yeah,
this
Ryder
year.
Cup year. Yes.
September, New York. It's going to be.
Well, I'm hopeful. I wasn't hopeful. I mean, the away side is always going to struggle these days, but look at the number of. I mean, up until Aberg had a complete meltdown on the last. It was going to be a Europe 1, 2, 3. I mean, look at the number of Europeans that have won on the PGA Tour this year. We've dominated almost. So,
yeah.
Luke Donald must be really happy with the way things are going at the moment, and I feel like if this sort of trend continues, maybe we get, maybe even another major winner who's Europeans. It's very likely it could happen, especially with I mean, you've got Royal Portrush, isn't it, as well?
Yep.
I mean, the Americans have dominated the Open, to be fair, but again, that's basically Rory's home, so you've got to be feeling good about that as well. But anyway, I think we've got to be feeling good about going to the US and putting up a good show.
I think the continuity as well of keeping Luke Donald and just the Americans is a bit of an unknown with Keegan. Like he says some good things. He says some good things, but he can't pick himself, and he can only play himself.
I still think he might though, but he was so let down by not being picked. I think I feel sorry for him because when he should have been in the team, he was overlooked. And now he should be in the team. He's definitely one of the I would imagine he's one of the best 12 really. And now he's in that situation where he's in another problematic place where he should be playing but can't realistically.
Can you be captain?
I don't think he probably can. I'd like to see him try because I think it would actually give an advantage to Europe if he tried it.
Yeah. You can't go into the dressing room if you collect like no points from your first couple of matches, you're then going in the dressing room and trying to inspire your team, and you've sort of not contributed. It's just a tough spot to be in, isn't it? You don't want to be in that place.
You don't, but also you look at how much thought goes into the whole process, but let alone that, just being able to build up the team and encourage them and have all these meetings and work out on the fly what the best thing to do is. You can't give that your full attention if you're thinking about your own game. And you can't give your game the full attention if you're thinking about all this other peripheral stuff about, well, it's not the peripheral, it's the core stuff around who to pick, in your foursome pairings or whatever.
And he walks weird.
He does. He galumps a little bit, doesn't he? I think, yeah.
It has to all come into the equation, doesn't it? Luke Donald walks way better than
walks way better. It does.
Speaks Italian really beautifully as well.
Yeah. If he doesn't play, at least we won't get to see someone else doing aim point with about 4 foot apart, which just winds me up so much.
And of course, he do a form of it. He does like a form of aim point, doesn't he?
He does aim point, but he does it as well. I don't think I've seen anyone other than, well, apart from Minwoo Lee, who was sort of doing it as a joke. But Keegan does do it from very close to the hole, which really it does wind me up no end.
Augusta don't like it either. They made it very clear that they're
really don't like it.
So it was like, again, it's the only time when Fred Ridley, I don't realize that Fred Ridley exists for 11 and a half months of the year, and then he becomes like a very important figure for for that week. And I watched his address to the media, which I didn't really gain much from, really, but he spent like 5 minutes talking about the drive, chip, and putt that they do, and I think a media person said, like, does it worry you when you see these like 5-6 year olds doing aim point from like 3 foot away? And he was like, yeah, like, I don't like it. Doesn't need to happen. Slows down the game. Yeah. And I think there is something to. I think if you can speed it up and do it in the same time that it takes someone to walk around the hole and to look from every side, I don't really see an issue with it. I think the issue with it is when they do all the other things and then do aim point on top of it.
And they have to go. If you've got a 20-foot putt, they're going like incrementally 4 different sort of five steps along the putt to get of seeing, okay, well, with you balancing your feet, what's the slope here? What's this? It's just, it's and I don't think anyone actually gets a material advantage by using it. I mean, it might turn an average putter into a slightly better putter, but I mean, look, you look at all the best putters ever. None of them have, everyone's had a natural ability to read greens. And I get that, science behind it, and there's other methods as well that are around. I was listening to one the other day that kind of uses an app. You can put your phone on the ground and it does it for you as well, which sounds quite interesting.
Absolutely
but,
ideal.
Yeah. Mark your ball with your phone. Yeah.
Yeah, got these like putt view goggles and stuff, haven't you, where it shows you the line like you're playing it on like a PlayStation or something.
Oh, really? I think it takes away from the actual skill set of being able to read the putt, and like looking at it, looking at all of the contours. It's a skill. I mean, like I've played with my dad, can't read greens at all.
Right.
I mean, I have to sometimes say to him, please don't aim it over there. Could you just step away and I'll show you where to aim it? Because, and the last time I played with him, right, like we were playing a scramble, a 4-ball scramble, and he was the last to putt, and all three of us, and this is about probably a 40-foot putt with about, I don't know, 3 foot of break from the left.
Yep.
So all three of us had putted, and we'd all started the ball left of the hole. I feel really sorry just calling my dad out for him. He's a lovely man. I love him to death. But it just kills me. It's so him. That even though he'd seen 3 previous putts start left of the hole and break right, he still, because he thought it broke from the right, he still aimed it right, and it just
there's grain.
More right. There's grain, yeah. If he was able to kind of like read grain, let alone a massive bloke that's very obvious, I mean, I'd be very impressed. But yeah,
he's like, everyone knows everything breaks towards the river on this hole. Like, what are you always doing? It goes towards the river. It draws it in.
Yeah. So he's sort of my bless him, my go-to kind of example of someone, some people just, you can't see it, and if there's ways and means to kind of enable you to enjoy the game more by figuring it out, then fair enough. But yeah, as long as it's
pace anyway, so they can aim point as much as they want. If they don't hit the putt in the correct pace, it doesn't.
Well, also you can take less break and hit it harder, or more break and hit it softer. And they can both go in. So there's a range anyway for every putt.
Tiger Woods, arguably best pressure putter of all time, didn't use aim point. He just did what he did in every other point in the game, didn't he? Which was used his mind to create what kind of shot he wanted to hit, what window that ball goes in, and he did the same with putts.
Yeah, visualized it. Yeah, I stared down the hole, looked back at the ball, just hit the trigger, and he willed it into the ball, into the hole a lot of the time.
I've tried so many different putting techniques. I did the Billy Horschel for a little bit.
What, the right foot back?
Yeah, the whole routine. I tried it. It was when he won at Wentworth. And he putted really well, didn't he? And he obviously, did he eagle the last or birdie the last at Wentworth to win it?
Yeah.
Or the
he was playing a wedge in, wasn't he? I think I seem to remember. So maybe
he was not. It was against Rory, wasn't it? He held that putt against Rory. And I just was like, maybe there's something to it. I'm gonna try it. And it doesn't work.
I sort of proselytize about the technique I use. It's just which sort of revolutionized my putting. I was for years and years a decent touch from long distance, but I never hold many putts from middle distance, and I was sort of pretty average from that kind of range. And then I adopted this technique, and I've never held more putts in my entire life than I have in the last couple of years. And it's okay. If you want to know, here's the secret.
I want to know. Here we go.
So, but it actually is based upon Tiger. I kind of first sort of, again, like you see something, you think, I'll try that. But then it turns out there was a lot more science behind it, which I then researched, and then and then sort of like then developed it a bit more. But I always noticed that when Tiger putted, he always looked at the hole. He stared it down quite for a few seconds. Then he looked back at the ball, and then he made his stroke. And I thought, and he seemed to, as a lot, we copy a lot of what he did in many aspects of his game,
Yeah.
because he's the best at it. But
It's important you
he
say
always,
his game. It's important you use that.
yeah, he's well, you could take that in a number of ways as well. To be fair,
His golf. We
his
copy
golf
his golf.
game,
We
we
copy
copy
his
his golf
golf.
game. So yeah, and he kind of swore by it. So I thought, well, I'll try that, and it did work. It really worked. And then I kind of heard this podcast that interviewed this with this guy, this scientist who really, I don't know, I can't remember his name, but he sounded like he was one of the Muppets. Um, Great voice. Um, but he's
Hey, boo.
hey boo. And yeah, so he basically said that he was like a neuroscientist, and
Mhm.
he measured brain scans of millions of data points of brain scans of people putting. Again, talk about a misused use case
We
for
need
me.
this man. This man needed to exist, and
He did.
here he is.
And he noticed that the best results where the ball was either stone dead from distance, or it went in from a makeable range, the brain was in a what he called, again, you can look it up, because I think actually his book was sort of had a similar title, but he was in this sort of what he called this like green zone,
Mhm.
where it was almost like it was a flat line sort of Zen-like state, where there was no conscious thought. It was very sort of like nothing really going on.
Mhm.
And this is the bit that I developed from that initial kind of physical kind of routine that Tiger did. And I thought, well, actually, I do this already. And the aim, what he said was, is that you look at the hole and you stare it down. And for a couple of seconds, you do that. You're taking an imprint, in a mental image of that putt in your
Yeah.
head, and you store that. And then when you can look back at the ball and almost immediately get yourself into that zone where you're not consciously thinking about anything,
Mhm.
and you just let your body make the stroke,
Mhm.
it has remarkable outcomes. It's
Okay.
ridiculous how
Yeah. Yeah.
amazing it is, and it's weird. It's like an out of body experience, because you are genuinely putting with your subconscious. There is
Yeah.
no conscious movement of like, I'm taking it back this far and I'm taking it through this far. It is purely on instinct, and you're using
Okay.
it, and you're using your body to self-organize on the basis of an imprinted image in your subconscious that you just looked at with the whole, looking at the whole. And it's what's really weird is it's the reason why I say it's like an out of body experience is that sometimes I'll look back at the ball, and I kind of almost sort of go a little bit blurry eyed. I don't, but I kind of feel like I am, to get my mind in that sort of like Homer Simpson's, monkeys mashing a cymbal together
Yeah.
sort
Yeah. Yeah.
of zone. And then when I just kind of like tell my body, right, just go, just hit it, see what happens. Sometimes on my follow through, I feel like my bottom hand has just got involved a little bit, because it realized that maybe I hadn't taken it back enough on the way
Mhm.
back, and I need to give it a little bit extra oomph on the way through. And I noticed this consciously. I was like, oh, that's a funny follow through, but it always is like tapping. I hardly ever three putt anymore,
Right.
and a lot of this is just because it's sort of the body's just taken over and it's done it for me. And
Yeah.
what else that advantage that gives you is I have no stress over a putt anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not,
See,
because I'm
that's
not, it's not
nice.
me really doing it. It's my subconscious. So I'm like, I go, all right, if I stick to the process, it's most likely going to be a decent result.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't stress over it. I don't think, oh no, I'm going to guide it to the hole. I don't want to go too far. That part of the game being removed is also a nice element to this, of not having to stress over putting. But so give it a
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, so that
See if it
makes
works.
sense because I had like a horrible putting front nine once. And when I got to the back nine, I was playing with our mutual friend Phil, and I just said to him, I was like, why am I'm overthinking every part of this, like to the point where I'm like stuttering before I'm going through the part.
Mm.
I'm like, I literally said to him, I have eyes, I have hands, and I know where the hole is. I'm just going to go with that from now on. And I'd literally just get to the ball, look at the hole. I wouldn't even read the green like for that because I was so sick. I was so sick of getting it wrong. I was like, I don't even want to know what this putt does. Like we were playing a pretty simple golf course. I'm like, it's not going to have that much break. It's going to be pace. Like pretty much the whole time. And
Mm.
I hold like I think 3 holes in a row I one putted.
Mm.
I couldn't replicate that then because I then got in my own head and was like,
Yep.
wait,
And
wait,
that's what
was I
happens.
doing something else as well?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's interesting. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that on Wednesday. I'm gonna
Nice. Yeah,
try
let
and
me know how
just
it goes.
just really so for the listeners as well, just
So
to break it down into a couple of bullet points. Really stare at the hole.
yeah, so get over your obviously before you play your make your putt, you can obviously do spend 10 minutes doing aim point, but no, I don't do that.
Perfect. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
How
you
many?
see yeah, exactly. So you go make you obviously look at your make your selection on where you're going to aim it, and just take it in around where the slopes are, etc. Do your normal routine around there, and then get over the ball, get comfortable, aim the putter at your line,
Mm-hmm.
and then once you're ready, you're in that position where you're ready to go. You literally just tilt your head, so you're not sort of getting up and looking. You're in that ready position.
Yep.
Tilt your head to look at the hole and stare down the hole. Just give it the eyes
Mm.
at the hole, just for a couple of 2 or 3 seconds, and then immediately just tilt your head back to the ball and go. Don't think about
Okay.
anything.
No
Just
hesitation.
immediately, just no hesitation, go.
If I get in my own head and do a little bit of hesitation, go through that same process again.
Yeah, just stick to that process.
Okay.
The more you can, and I go through moments where I get back to the ball, I tilt my head back to the ball, and I've still got some sort of conscious thought in there, and whenever that happens, it's never quite the right result. So this all comes with practice, like with anything, but
Yeah.
the more you can, practice and get used to it, but your ability to improve when you tilt your head back to the ball and look at the ball itself, that ability to kind of go into like an immediate zone of like, there's nothingness, there's no kind of conscious thought. I'm just going to just let my muscles do what they think needs to be done now. Just make a
Yeah.
putting stroke. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, just go for it and see what happens. But I think, yeah, you might be surprised, especially with your distance putting,
Yeah.
um,
Oh,
how
because it's
how
always
much
the way.
easier
I'll
it is.
always hold those ridiculously long putts where I don't really know what it's doing. I just look at the hole and go. And they're the ones that you tend to get close, aren't they? The ones that you think I've got no hope of getting this close.
Yeah,
They're the ones that go close.
and that's
It's
probably in order to save shots. Not three putting is
yeah,
low hanging fruit. It's not that easy to do, but if you can figure it out, you'll save so many shots. You'll cut your
yeah, yeah,
handicap by doing that, and also not putting pressure on yourself. The other good thing about not really doing it in a conscious way, you're not kind of thinking, got to hold this, got to hold this. You're just sticking to a process because actually, if you're like anything like what PGA Tour average from 8 feet is, you make one in two,
hmm
which is pretty low, really, and they're the best in the
yeah,
world at
yeah,
it. So for the likes of you and me, if we're that kind of distance from the hole, I'm not really expect if it goes in, I'm like that's a
happy
bonus.
days.
But what I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
doing is three putting. If I'm
yeah,
close to like 3 or 4 feet, I'm expecting to make it. But anything
yeah.
really outside 8 feet, I'm like, well, this game is so difficult. There's so many
Oh,
variables in putting. The little bit of bobble on the greens or spike mark or whatever,
yeah,
it's so hard. So as long as you're not, you can't be expected to hold putts really all the time. But if
yeah.
you can avoid making mistakes, that's a big saver, I think, of shots. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it'll
Yeah.
benefit you.
I'm going through all sorts of grip change. Also, I'll talk to you about that outside of the podcast. But
Yeah, well, I mean,
um,
just get on
yeah,
in the week.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'll let you know. Well, thanks, James. Thank you for coming on the
Pleasure.
BirDie Golf Club podcast. First appearance, hopefully of many,
I'd
because
love to come back.
it was great. I knew it was going to be great because we love talking about golf and going off
Definitely.
and enjoying it. I mean, once again, amazing to see Rory do it. Feels like it's a weight off of all of our shoulders, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's
Which
a
is nice.
collective sigh across
Yeah,
across the world. Oh, thank goodness he's done it.
we don't have to wait another 12 months to go through torture again. It'd be interesting to see what the next narrative's going to be going into another year of golf. I mean, it's just it's going to be
Yeah,
interesting. But
there's a new narrative for sure now. Something else. Well, there's not. They're not. There's a few of them about in
we're
golf
going to
these days.
pile on
So
to Tommy Fleetwood, I reckon. Next, get that America tour win. I reckon. Let's just pile on to Tommy. Let's
or
make him
Cantlay.
lose that luscious.
Let's pile on Cantlay instead. We like Tommy.
Yeah, that's true. I don't want to watch Cantlay. That's the problem. Cheers, James. Thank
Thanks,
you,
mate.
mate.
Bye.